Years ago when I had my gallery in Santa Fe, uh, it was, and I sold it in 1988. So I think I'm talking about in the first part of the 1980s. It was common for me to buy merchandise, artifacts, and paintings from people who walked in my front door. And sometimes I would buy from 5 or 6 or 7 people a day. And so one time this lady walked in, and she didn't have an appointment with me, but she walked in my office and asked if she could talk to me, and I said yes. She was a good-looking woman from San Antonio, and she had a little artifact that she wanted to sell me, and I didn't want to buy it. And I tried to be nice to her. I told her that I really didn't want it, and the woman started crying. And I said, "Why are you crying?" I got up and closed the door and sat down beside her, and I said, "Why are you crying?" And she said she was divorced, a single mom with 2 kids that were ready to start college, and she didn't have any money for them to enter college. And it was really bothering her. And we talked for a while, and I found out that she had a close friend in San Antonio that was in the same situation that she was in. She was divorced with a couple of kids at college age, and they were really close friends. And I said, ask her what she was going to do, and she said she didn't know what she was going to do. She was frantic, and her ex-husband was not going to help educate the kids. So I said to her, I said, "Well, do you have any special talents that would help you make a living?" And she said no, but she had been a homemaker. And I said, "Well, how would you like to be an artist?" And she said, "No, I can't do that." She said, "I have no talent in that area." I said, "Well, let's think about it for a minute." I said, "If you'll listen to the rules, I think you can make some money being an artist." She was willing to listen. So I took her up on Canyon Road to Artesanos. It was a place where they sold nothing but artist supplies. And I bought her some watercolor papers, some watercolors, and the necessities for her to play around with being a watercolor artist. If you listen to me, I think we can make this work. So she said, okay. The good part about it was that she had a friend in San Antonio that owned an art gallery, and she was in the same situation that this lady was in. She had a couple of kids, and ex-husbands were not helping them. So I said, if you won't get greedy on your prices, if you're willing to sell your paintings for $300, $400, $500, and I said we might be able to make this work. I said you don't have any talent as an artist, so you can't paint realism. Really, the only thing that you can paint is abstract art. And I said the rules that you should listen to are, first of all, don't use the color black. Black is depressing. Don't paint any sharp edges. Make things blend. You need to learn the colors in the rainbow. What color will flow into what color? And I had a good friend here in town by the name of Lee Rommel. She was a really good painter. She taught painting. So I lined up 1 or 2 lessons for this gal, mostly to teach her how to mix watercolor paints and what colors need to be next to what colors. I mean, I didn't know anything about it, but I thought we might make this thing work. So she agreed to do that. She had some things going for her. First of all, she was a good-looking woman, and she had a friend who had an art gallery. So, boy, the handwriting was on the wall there as far as I could tell. I said, paint a bunch of paintings, do the best you can, and talk your friend into having a show in San Antonio. And I said, any man that walks off the street, he's not going to come in to buy your paintings. You're going to have to sell them to him. There's a distinct difference in somebody buying something and somebody being sold that item. So she agreed, and I said, price your paintings for $200, $300, $400, $500, $600. Top dollar $600. I said, any guy that comes in and you talk to him and have a cup of coffee or something, I said he'll spend $400 for a painting, maybe even if he doesn't want it. And she said, okay, and we did that. Well, she had a show in San Antonio. I think she had 45 paintings, and the lady that owned the gallery was another good-looking woman, and I think they sold every painting. They sold the show to the wall. Every painting was sold. So, she had a smile on her face, and I saw her a couple of times after that, and she continued to do this. She still can't paint, but she was making something, a product for the consuming public that the public wanted in a very narrow area. It was enough for her to make a living. I was a businessman when I was in the art gallery business, and artists don't like to talk about some things. They don't like to talk about how many man hours they have in that piece of art. And I tried to keep my thinking in perspective. My perspective was that art is no different from any other commodity. You have a manufacturer and you have a retailer. Artist doesn't like to be called a manufacturer. And I'm going to take a little bit of heat for saying that, I know, but the way I looked at it from a business standpoint, an artist manufactured something that he would bring to me and sell it to me wholesale, and I sell it retail. That's the way this country operates, and it worked very well for me, and I think it worked very well for her. As far as I know, she's still painting those $300 or $400 watercolors, and the old definition of an artist is somebody who can starve to death without dying.